Hey everyone, this is Ross, and believe it or not, but all of this is filter floss or filter wool, and I bought this in bulk to save on the cost of buying it in the future, and all of this was £6 on eBay, plus £2 shipping I think, so that's £8, so it'll probably cost about $14–15 if you're in the US, and this is a 5 metre roll, although I think I've got a bit more than 5 metres, because I've still got to unroll that bit. But yeah, I've got a lot. This is going to keep us going for 2 or 3 years. That's at the minimum, because this is a lot. And yeah, very cheap. Buy your filter materials in bulk. It'll be a lot better in the long run. I mean, it's going to be pricey at first, but it'll pay off. I mean, I saw this small packet of filter floss in my LFS the other day. It was like £2 just for a tiny little square of this. So yeah, just buy in bulk. It saves you a lot of time going out buying it, a lot of money. I've never actually tried out filter floss in my filters before. I used to rely on just dish scrapers. I use one dish scraper as a mechanical filtration and one as a biological, because it's got a huge surface area. But now I can use both as the biological filtration, because I've got this to take out any poo or bits of dirt floating in the water, and I can just throw this out after a few uses, because I've got a lot of it. So yeah, it looks great, really fine stuff. It isn't too thin, I suppose. It's going to get the majority of dirt out, so that's what I want. Because I noticed after a water change the other night, there was a few particles of dirt in the water. It wasn't anything too bad, but there was a few particles of dirt just kind of floating around the water, and the Cory cats seem to exaggerate that problem by scratching around on the bottom and making all the dirt plume up. So yeah, I just thought I'd try this out. I'm going to shove some of this in the intake tube for my filter, and I'm going to put some of this also between the intake housing and also the waterfall, but I'll show you that in a minute. Right, so I'll just cut it out and put some in the filter. Right, so here's the filter's intake tube, and that's where the water comes in, goes up there, past the valve and into the filter. So as the water comes in here, there's actually some filter floss, just a tiny bit there, and I've only put a small bit there because I don't want to restrict the water flow too much, but I'd still like it to filter out some particles. So that's kind of the first line of defence. It's going to filter out any particles that come up there, and then if any particles get past that stage, then it's going to come into this section here, where it'll then have to pass through this filter floss, and it's not much, so it won't restrict the water flow. Then it comes into this chamber, goes past these scrubbies which provide good biological filtration, and back into the tank. So before I was just relying on these. I mean, these have served us really well for 3 months, but now I'm adding some of this filter floss, and I haven't actually used much up. I've only used that tiny square filter floss, so it's a great deal. And I'll just put this tube back on the filter, and I'll show you once it's working. Right, so I've got the filter floss actually in the filter there now. I've wedged a piece inside the intake tube, as you can see, right there. I'm sorry about the shine on the tank. So it comes up here. It's already been cleaned out once by that floss in the intake tube, and comes into this chamber, and that filter floss is blocking the way out, so it has to go through there and goes through here. That's the biological, straight back into the tank. I never do chemical on my tanks. The only thing I'm really worried about though is the amount that's coming out. I mean, before it was about double that, so it's blocking the flow rate. But what I might do is take the piece out of the intake tube, because that piece should be okay to keep this tank clean. I mean, it's only a 15 gallon, so I want the speed to be a bit more than that. I want it to push out more, because that's a tiny amount. So I might take out this intake tube, but we'll see. That's just if I'm not happy with it in the future. Alright, so if you like this vid, then please leave a comment, please like it, and please subscribe. I've got a video coming up about planaria, and I've also got a video coming up for Rico Fish 100, and he wanted to know how I made my Java mouse carpet. And there's also a small carpet there too. So I've got those vids coming up later today. Alright, so that's it. Bye.